Good evening and welcome to the Leon Valley City Council meeting. Today is Tuesday, April 3rd, 2018. It's approximately 11 minutes after 6, and we will begin our meeting. We do have a quorum. All council members are present. And I've asked Councilor Belinda Ely to please lead us in the pledge. So if you would please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you. Ms. Ely?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, just a few housekeeping before we begin our presentations this evening. We are live streaming, so any of you that are at home, if you want to send a question to our city secretary while we're in the middle of the meeting, we'll certainly take it up. If you'll please silence your cell phones. And then again, the local rules do allow for citizen participation at all points of the meeting. So you have up to 3 minutes if you'll just raise your hand and be recognized. And this is in addition to citizens to be heard, which is 5 minutes. Okay? So we're so glad all of you could join us, and we hope you all had a wonderful Easter as well. Agenda item number 2, presentations. Presentation of a proclamation declaring the week of April 8th through the 14th, 2018 as National Library Week. And we have our Library Assistant Director, Teresa Brader, here to present the proclamation to. Thank you. Please welcome Teresa. Oh, my proclamation. We have the, how are you?
Doing well.
Good. How's everything at the library?
Wonderful.
Everybody loves the 7 days?
Yes.
Good. All right. I love to take my granddaughter to the library children's function on Thursday mornings. It's absolutely fabulous. So if you have any young children, grandchildren, please take them to the library on Thursdays. It's wonderful. Teresa does an excellent program, so thank you. Let me read this proclamation. Whereas libraries are not just about what they have for people, but what they do for and with people. Whereas libraries have long served as trusted and treasured institutions, and library workers and librarians fuel efforts to better their communities, campuses, and schools. Whereas librarians are leaders in their institutions and organizations, in their committees, in the nation and in the world. In their communities, in the nation and in the world. Whereas librarians continue to lead the way in leveling the playing field for all who seek information and access to technologies. Whereas libraries and librarians look beyond their traditional roles and provide transformative opportunities for education, employment, entrepreneurship, empowerment, and engagement, as well as new services that connect closely with patrons' needs. Whereas libraries and librarians lead their communities in innovation, providing STEAM programming, maker spaces, oh, those are all new words to me, and access and training for new technologies. You'll have to explain those to us. Whereas libraries are pioneers supporting democracy and affecting social change with a commitment to providing equitable access to information for all library users regardless of race, ethnicity, creed, ability, sexual orientation, gender identity, or social economic status. Whereas libraries lead in working with diverse communities, including people of color, immigrants, and people with disabilities, offering services and educational resources that transform communities, open minds, and promote inclusion and diversity. Whereas libraries, librarians, library workers, and supporters across America are celebrating National Library Week. Now, therefore, be it resolved that I, Chris Riley, Mayor of the City of Leon Valley, proclaim National Library Week, April 8th to the 14th, 2018. I encourage all residents to visit the library this week and explore what's new at your library and engage with your librarian. Because of you and your library leaders, libraries transform. Signed by my hand this third day of April 2018, Mayor Chris Riley. So let's congratulate our wonderful librarian, Teresa Bader.
Yes, thank you so much. And please like us on Facebook.
Oh, yeah,
And
that's right.
8th through the 14th, we're going to have some fun, exciting things. So if you look on Facebook, we'll have some little challenges come into the library and you might win a prize.
Okay, explain to us, what is STEAM? I thought it was STEM, science, technology.
It used to be
Okay.
STEM, but
Okay.
now they added art. So it's
Art.
science, technology, engineering, art, and mathematics.
Well, thank you. That's something I learned. And then maker spaces, what is that?
Yes, that is, it's a very creative part using technology and creating things with technology and all kinds of things.
Okay.
So we usually monthly have a makerspace, a small makerspace that the kids enjoy to come to.
Yes. Besides yoga and adult coloring, which I think is so much fun. I don't have time to do it, but it sounds like it would be a good time. Really, very relaxing. Okay. Anything else? All righty. Thank y'all very much. Enjoy Library Week. Okay. What next? Do I have another present? Oh no, it's the trees. Okay. Thank you. Crystal, I'll take this with me if you let me, just like a pen. Okay. Yes, sir.
Will
Mr.
you be having citizens be heard
We-
before the presentation?
Mr. Westridge, if you'll notice on your agenda, it's number 4, citizens to be heard. So we'll have.
Grant an agenda.
Okay, yes, sir. So we want to hear from you. We'll have a tree advisory board annual report. We'll have the city manager's report, and then we'll have citizens to be heard. So thank you. I'm glad that you asked. Good evening, Mr. Benavides. How are you?
Good evening, Mayor.
All right. We have a tree advisory board annual report, and you are the vice chair of that group, and we thank you for being here and look forward to your presentation.
All right.
Thank
Good evening,
you.
Mayor,
You
council
bet.
staff, citizens, and guests. Start off with the second slide. Tree Advisory Board in Leon Valley meets the second Monday of each month, 6 p.m. at Public Works. This coming meeting, we're meeting at the Old Mill Park to do the site evaluation for tree planting. So we can always use extra members. There's 9 members, including our staff liaison, David Dimerline, sitting back over here. And so for those interested, the city council actually appoints the board members. We have to apply. And there's a course we have to take through the state to get certified to be on the board. So any of the committees or boards that you sign up for, you have to go through the training. Oh, okay. Also, we oversee enforcement and application of the existing tree ordinance. So that means sometimes we'll go later on in the brief, we'll look at some of the companies that are actually building facilities in Leon Valley, but we'll look at their variance requests, because they do have to knock down some trees, and so we want to make sure we can save legacy trees when possible, and if not, we kind of work with them on the fees that they have to pay the city. So that's one thing. So that's how we oversee the enforcement of the tree ordinance. Also, we hold an annual Arbor Day event, usually in October time frame. We usually partner with the senior trash and seniors treasures
Trash and treasure.
fails, and also the Halloween party at the library. So we kind of partner with them so we can get a lot more people to come and visit our annual event, where we actually do a tree adoptions. Sometimes we have between 300 to 500 trees to give out free to all citizens. We'll have demonstrations, and that's basically what we do at the Arbor Day. We also participate in Earthwise Living Day event, which just happened here in March, and we gave out 290 trees at that event. And it was a great event this year. We had great weather. We also work with the local schools to conduct the Arbor Day poster contest and tree benefit education programs. So we're working with Northside School District to hopefully get some trees planted on their properties. So that's basically what we do with the schools, and mainly it's Driggers and Leon Valley Elementary. We also coordinate community classes in tree pruning, selection and identification of trees, and we also work on oak wilt prevention. A lot of it's hit the Castle Estates area. We do have treatment kits that we have here at the city that we can loan out to the citizens. You just have to buy your own fungicide. We've done outreach by sending flyers out to the affected areas. We just lost one of the largest oak trees in Leon Valley this year up in the Castle Estates. So that's what we do in that piece. Next slide. We partner with Texas A&M Forest Service, and Mark Crozy is actually assigned to Leon Valley, and he'll actually go to your home. If you've got a problem with your oaks or you need some kind of help or advice, we can make an appointment. You can come through the board, and we can get a forester out there to your home to see what they can do about your trees. We have a tree planting adoption program. We're trying to get 10,000 trees planted in Leon Valley by 2020. Right now we're at 4,300. So we hope to keep on doing that. We do tree adoptions, of course, at Arbor Day, Earthwise Living Day. That's what we just went over. Also, we are identifying citywide planting opportunities, mainly at the big trees. The large trees, they're kind of tough. We're trying to plant smaller trees. A lot of Leon Valley has already got quite a bit of trees, but we've got some areas that have been devastated by hypoxylin. It's kind of a disease that eats up kills the trees. We have oak wilt, and some of the trees are already dying because a lot of people planted some of the Arizona ash and some of the short-lived trees. So we're hoping to help those citizens replant and actually increase the canopy in Leon Valley. So next slide. So main thing, we support environmental awareness. We work with the public works very closely because they're always looking at, of course, the chief's always bringing up the flooding area. We need to kind of shore up the Raymond Rinkus Park, where a lot of the trees there are cedar elms, and a lot of the soil gets eroded. So some of the black willows, those are the ones that really hold that dirt. So we're hoping to help the stormwater management in that area. Also for air pollution, the bigger the canopy, the more pollution we can contain. Of course, they beautify Leon Valley. They up the values of the homes here. And one of our big push has been on oak wilt prevention. I just mentioned on the tree injections. And we're always looking for opportunities for trenching. The Public Works right now is going to do some trenching to replace some sewer lines, but they're also going to trench to kind of cut some of the roots for these oak trees, because that's actually how they pass the fungus. What happens, one tree catches it, and these are moths. The way they grow, they kind of throw a root, and then they come up, and they're families of trees. So if one tree gets it, they all get it. So that's one thing. And normally it's probably brought in. Someone brought some firewood, and maybe they pruned a live oak, and there's a beetle, the sap-eating beetle, that gets on the infected wood. Then they take it up to your tree, and if you didn't paint it, then that's how that tree gets infected. Then it passes it on through the roots. So normally when you prune your trees, you might have an Arizona ash tree, and that can contain the fungicide, or the fungus, And if you cut, let's say you use your chainsaw or some cutting tool to cut that limb, well, you'll put the fungus on that chain or that cutting tool. So you're supposed to spray it with Lysol and oil it. Otherwise, you can contaminate an oak tree if you're trimming all your trees in the neighborhood. So you have to clean the tools in between trees. So that's what we try to pass on the oak wilt. And actually our forester has gone out to the Castle Estates area and has met with people. And those citizens that are interested have gone to our meetings, and we've sent out people to their homes to help, give them a good hand. Hopefully, I know one gentleman, I feel sorry for him. He bought a home and it had a stand of 5 beautiful oaks, and they all died. So he bought the home, but then he heard about the oak wilt, hadn't heard about it because he came from some other neighborhood. So then he lost all his trees. So we're hoping to make public awareness at the meetings, flyers that we send out, the roar, and anything that we put online. So hopefully people that want to be involved, that have oak trees, are looking at all that. Next slide. Okay, we have Tree City USA status. We've had it for several years now. And our Public Works liaison, Mr. Diamond Lion, he's put in the application already. And mainly there's 4 core standards that sound urban forestry management that we have to abide by. And it's just one thing you have to spend X amount of money to get that certification. So we really have to spend $2 per capita, which is, I think we have about 10,000 citizens, so that's about $20,000. So that's what the city spends approximately into this. And another thing we have to do, we have to have a community tree ordinance, which we do. We have to celebrate Arbor Day, which we do, and then we have to also maintain a tree board. Now this helps us, it's just not just a status. I mean, it's a good thing. People see that Leon Valley is committed to having this certification. It's a good thing, but it also helps us when we're looking for grants to get other things, whether it's to improve our roads or to get extra money to buy more trees, or having this certification helps out because it shows the city's committed to helping out, to do the right thing for the city. So all these organizations are more likely to give us the money or whatever we're asking for. So next slide. We have a swale there in Raymond Rincus Park near the tennis courts. It's just kind of it's like a depression there. It holds a lot of water. So they're going to do like a kind of a water garden there, but we're going to plant about somewhere between 75 to 100 trees. And we're also going to plant trees in the following parks: the Silo Park off of Hebner, and Old Mill Park on the other side of Hebner, and Ridge Park up on the hill, and the LC-17 project right here to the back. So we're hoping to plant, a couple of thousand trees in these areas here, to include Raymond Rincus Park. So next, there it is. We've had some other opportunities. Tiger Sanitation just won the contract to pick up our trash. So they're doing, they've offered that they're going to help us out with approximately 50 trees. They're just going to donate that. The White Conley builders, they're building an apartment complex here on Grissom and Timber Hill. It's about 20 acres of land no one's ever built on. So they're donating quite a bit. They're knocking down some trees, but we have to look. They got a variance to knock down a lot of the small trees. At one point, that land had been just clear cut. I think they were going to try to sell it, but no one built anything on it. So a lot of hackberry trees, a lot of small trees grew in there. But they were able to, there was only 4 legacy trees. These are anything 12 inches larger. So they saved all of them. They actually moved one building to save one mesquite. And you know, so that's a legacy tree still, and we're gonna hope they live over 100 years, so. Also, Quick Trip is a gas station we're gonna get on Seneca and Bandera. There's a big old black willow there and some other trees. They're gonna knock those down, but they're gonna replant, and they're also gonna donate additional trees. And also, the companies that are actually building here, they will be paying fines for some of the trees that we can't mitigate. So, next slide. That was it.
Okay, very good, very good. So let me see if there's any questions for you, Mr. Benavides, before you, and then also recognize your board members that are here this evening as well. I had a question last night from a constituent, and they wanted to know, they have a big tree in their front yard, and they need to do some trimming on it. Do they need to get a permit from the city first before they do that?
No.
They don't.
But they, at one point, we had the ordinance, but we're trying to put into law or into the ordinance piece where they have to use a certified arborist. That way, you know, you don't want just hire somebody in a pickup truck and a ladder and a chainsaw to go up there. You want someone that's licensed and bonded, because you know your house could get damaged. Not only that, because of the oak wilt, that's one thing that we probably need to shore up on the city ordinance. I know we're planning to have that. I was just talking to Mr. Woodworth here earlier when he was on the board, and it just hasn't materialized. That's something that we need to address. And
so maybe refer anybody that has a question on the tree to the tree board, and then Mr. Krause could help them make the decision that they need to make, whether it's pruning or, I think there's another neighbor that has oak wilt, that kind of thing, so should refer them to the tree board.
Right, the tree board, and we'll get a hold of Mr. Cozy, or one of us can go out there, and
All right.
We'll do the best we can. I know trenching's expensive, but we can, it's a lot more cost effective to treat with the fungicide. But sometimes trenching does work. I know when Mr. Diamond Line Public Works is planning to lay some new sewer line where it pays while you're digging it up, they'll get I guess a ditch witch that goes deep enough to cut those roots up and hopefully stop the oak wilt from moving.
Okay, very good. All right, those were any other questions from the council on the tree advisory? Thank you all very much for your service. Do you have some members of the tree advisory here that we could recognize? I believe I see Amber Mauser and I see Irene Baldridge.
There are members, and Mr. Dimeline is there in the
Is the staff liaison?
Our staff liaison, and there's Stephen, Amber's husband. He's there. Oh, there's Melinda. Melinda always helps us, so.
Okay. Well, we thank the Tree Advisory Board for all of your efforts. We do appreciate it. Yes, Mr. Riddle. Come to the. We are recording. Come to the podium, please. If you'll state your name and just where you live.
Okay. Philip Riddle on Rusopi. I just wanted to thank the Tree Advisory Board. I got a tree from them in 2014 and planted it in my backyard, and it's now up about 6 feet.
Oh, that's great. Yeah.
So
fantastic. Great. And I'd like to also thank CPS Energy. They donate these trees every Arbor Day and every Earthwise Living Day, so they're a great partner as well. So thanks to CPS Energy as well as the board. Yes.
Yeah, Tina Chasen on Forest Ridge. I'd like to know, you mentioned a swale area where it holds water, and you mentioned a water garden creation. Could you expound upon that?
Right, I guess that's a forest something. It dead ends right into the park.
Forest Meadow.
I don't know if all you're familiar with it. Tennis courts are, and the ball diamond. Well, up here, Forest Meadow comes down. It's right on the east side of the park, just kind of almost in the middle. And there's a swale. I guess all the water runoff goes into the park from there. Besides the creek coming this way, water comes from that area because it's a lot higher. And there's just kind of a depression, maybe 18 inches. That clay hardens, it gets, once it gets wet, it'll hold water for weeks and weeks and weeks. So that's the area where they're going to work over and put grasses and plants that can kind of handle the water and kind of take up some of the water. And the walking trail, there's like a little bridge because the water still goes under there. This kind of part, they might, they're gonna try to make that where it doesn't hold as much water, but up there where it comes in, there might be some erosion. So where it comes in, they might even cement just a little bit. But we don't want to cement the park completely, you know. But they need to put something so when the water comes rushing from Forest Meadow, it doesn't erode or put any dirt in there. So that area is probably, I think in this room, maybe twice as big as this room. So in that area, we're going to plant trees around it that you can kind of look like that. And here's that garden there. And there's going to be some benches in there so people can sit in there. And hopefully that'll help out that. It's a problem because it just gets mosquitoes and things like that. So hopefully we can get some plants that will drink up that water a lot quicker. And,
Thank you.
That's kind of the project. But we don't want to put too many trees because we have the community garden that's there. If you put any shade on those garden areas, people planting tomatoes, they're not going to be able to grow anything over there. So we have to be careful with the type of trees that we put on. I don't know if that helps. Y'all know where I'm talking about. But.
All right, excuse me for that coughing attack. Okay, thank you, Mr. Benavides. You're awesome. Okay. Excuse me, I'm so sorry. I'll move you then to the city manager's report, please.
Yes, Mayor, Council, thank you. First, want to start out by complimenting our Public Works Department. I was contacted, Melinda was contacted, Mr. Dimmeline was contacted by citizens who recognize the tremendous amount of effort that they put in the Monday morning after Easter. Last Easter, I made it a point to get here really early and drive by there so I could see what they had to deal with. I didn't do it this year, but residents took note of how hard they worked, how efficient they were, and how quickly they cleaned up the pigsty that gets left behind after Easter. Raymond Ribkus is always a mess after Easter. So I want to just let you know that several citizens noticed their work, and I want to thank them for they're so quick about that, and most of you don't even realize how trashed out that park gets on Easter. Since the passage of the safety zone ordinance, we've had 10 known sex offenders come in to sign that notice advising them of our new safety zone law. 3 of these 10 had library cards. And I really want to compliment Sandy Underwood because as soon as you pass this ordinance, she went to the library and started doing her research so that she could learn whether or not sex offenders were frequenting the library. She found that 3 were. And so we took the library cards away. All 3 of them understood that's why they were going to the Leon Valley Library, and they said they would comply. So nobody asked Sandy Underwood to do that. She took it upon herself and actually beat Chief Salvaggio to doing any of that. So she did it like the day or 2 days after you all passed that ordinance. So wanted to compliment if you'd pass that along for me, Teresa. What you see down here on display is Soapbox Derby car number 2. This one is sponsored by JB Wolf Sheds, a Leon Valley business, of course. It's over here on Wurzbach. He's not only going to enter a car, he's sponsoring the starting, that ramp gate thing for the racers, the finishers podium, and he's going to give us staffing to support the event. The Derby is going to be limited to 16 cars, and guess what? Slots are all filled now. So Leon Valley businesses are
without
liking
advertising, Ms. Kinsler?
Without advertising.
I can't.
It's done. Press releases will be sent out soon, but it's already setting up to be a great addition to our 4th of July event. I also want to congratulate the fire department. They won the Firehouse Subs Grant. That's a grant, no match is required. It's valued at about $6,770. They applied for this through a prevention and safety grant through a private foundation. The application, oh no, it's the Firehouse Subs Foundation is what it is. But the application includes a portable inflatable safety house, and then they go and inflate it, and it teaches children how to escape from this little house from a fire safely. And so they did win the grant for that, and so that's going to be a really good improvement to an outstanding program that they already have. Also need to compliment the police department. Just today, in fact, most of you all saw, they caught 2 fugitives with outstanding warrants, and one of those fugitives was actually on the Lone Star Task Force Most Wanted list, literally just across the street from us. And so this just happened, I don't know, 5-6 hours ago, but they got lots of stolen mail, stolen checks, stolen credit cards, social security cards, driver's licenses, a stolen car. Many stolen items were recovered. There's, in fact, as we're having this meeting, as you know, they're still back there processing the case right now. So good job, good police work by the police department. Want to talk a little bit about Tiger sanitation. I always try to, when I have new information or when I see consistent complaints, I try to make official statements on our Facebook and Nextdoor. So today, just this afternoon, I did make another city statement on Nextdoor to talk about the terms of the service contract with Tiger. So the terms of the contract with Tiger, just like they were with Waste Management, Tiger allows for, and Waste Management allowed for, the cart plus 4 bags. There have been several complaints from Leon Valley residents regarding Tiger sanitation only picking up the 4 extra bags of leaves. So what I did is I just went through and gave, in conjunction with Lee Kuhn, some tips on what we can do with these leaves. We talked about March and how it's a really bad month because that's when the live oaks actually lose their leaves. And so we're having some issues with that. So there's been some challenging times for the residents on what to do with them. So I laid out some options. One, you can place 4 bags out at a time until they've all been picked up. So if you have 10 bags, do 4 this week, 4 next, and 2 the next, or whatever. That's not a problem. If you have a neighbor who doesn't have any bags, they're okay with you giving some of your bags to your neighbor so that each house has the 4 bags. You can also call Tiger Sanitation anytime you want for what's called a bulk pickup for items in excess of your cart plus 4 bags. So for example, they would pick up your cart, 4 bags, and then they would charge you $2 for every additional 40-gallon bag after that. Given that the live oak leaves typically are an issue only once a year, this probably is a reasonable option for most residents because it's not like you would be doing it every month. Other options are you can mulch the leaves right back into your yard. Some residents are literally going and taking leaves so they can have mulch. And then you can also make compost at your homes, and residents are also getting leaves for compost, which of course are 2, environmentally friendly options. Don't forget that there is bulky item pickups 2 times a year for all residents, and you can do up to 8 cubic yards per resident. Now, the bulky item pickup, we just had one in February, and the other month is September, Melinda? September. And the reason that we scheduled them that way was because of the timing of when you're supposed to trim your tree branches, right? So something that the CEO of Tiger and I talked about today are possibly changing the bulky item pickup dates, but I'd really need to talk with the tree advisory board and see how that would coincide with the trimming of the trees so that we could also catch the leaves at the same time. Spoke with Councilor Martinez a few hours ago, who called me asking about possibly Tiger bringing a large roll-off dumpster that the city paid for this year, and then people could dump their extra leaves and have the city pay for the dumpster. So that would be up to you guys if you wanted to do something like that. I hope that these ideas assist the current customers that are having difficulty with the transition. But if those ideas are not helpful and you still need some help, you can feel free to call Tiger. I posted their number, or the city's Public Works Department. It's 681-1232 with further questions. I also would like to point out, if you would stand up, we have 2 Tiger representatives here with us this evening in case any of you or any residents have any questions that they can help with. I have taken case by case that I know of, though, and it appears that there was some cases where garbage, just in the last set of complaints, people did not pay their bills, so their garbage did not get picked up. There was also a whole row of persons who got missed, and that's because the truck ended up becoming, I forgot what the right waste management word is, but the truck was full. So they had to go dump the truck, switch drivers, and when the new driver came, he didn't know the area well and went to the wrong place. So we had a Tiger mistake in there, as well as some residents not paying. But I want everybody to know we are looking into every situation. I also felt a lot better when Melinda said, don't forget, we had same complaints with waste management. It's just that they'd been our vendor so long, we dealt with them at Public Works. And now that you have a new vendor, it's the complaints have surfaced to a different level in a different area. They were used to going to Public Works for those complaints, but Melinda swears you had same and similar complaints with the same vendor. Did you have a question?
Yes. One of the other suggestions I had, and I think we could negotiate with Tiger, allow them to pick up 15 bags if need be, and if there's any additional charge that Tiger is going to have, maybe come to City Council, and City Council can pay for that, maybe for the next month or 6 weeks while we get through the leave issue, and then they should be gone.
Mayor, Councilor Martinez, I think the big problem with that is, from what I'm hearing from residents, they have like 10 or 12 bags. If you wait a month or 6 weeks, they can put out 4 a week. They'll be gone.
Oh, no, yeah, I know, but people want them picked up immediately. When they put out 15 bags, they want 15 bags picked up that next trash day. So, if we can work out an agreement with Tiger to have them pick up all the bags, and if there's any additional charge, bring it to the city, and possibly we can agree to whatever additional charge they want for that, just for the next month or 6 weeks till this problem is resolved.
So my concern is that this is not on the agenda, so it's out of order. And so we would need to put this on the next agenda. And so if you all would like me to do that, I could do that. We have a second, and then we can. Okay.
For discussion purposes.
Okay, so I'll get that on the next agenda. The next special city council meeting begins at 5:30 with an executive session, and regular city council meeting at 6:00 p.m. on April 17th. Yoga continues to go on at the library. It's free. It goes all the way through April the 29th, 3 o'clock to 4:30 on Sundays at the library. Library Volunteer Appreciation Event is Wednesday, April 18th from 5 to 7. The Volunteer Appreciation Dinner is 2 days from now, Thursday, April 5th at 6:00 p.m. at the Conference Center. Deadline to register to vote in the May general election is April 5th. Impound lot auction we have upcoming on April 12th, right behind the Community Center. Coffee with the Mayor and City Council is Saturday, April 28th from 9 in the morning to 11 o'clock in the morning. I will not be here that morning, but I'm going to ask Melinda Moritz to present the goals and objectives to work with the citizens on those for that coffee. And is that going to be the only agenda item?
We were talking about the smoking ordinance.
Oh, did you want to put that
Well,
on?
I don't know. I mean, but
Okay,
we'll
figure it out.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. So
Okay.
But we certainly want to hear your concerns. That's the other big reason why we meet every quarter. So,
The City of San Antonio's Tricentennial is May 1st through 6th. For more information, there's a website. It's just visit sanantonio300.org. And then, of course, the City of Leon Valley will be hosting, we're part of the Tricentennial, and we'll have the ice cream social at the Huebner Onion Homestead the weekend of Memorial Day on that Saturday. There's a candidate forum hosted by the League of Women Voters at the Conference Center on April 18th from 6 o'clock to 8 o'clock p.m. We have some upcoming committee meetings. April 4th, Earthwise Living, 5:30 Public Works. Hike and Bike meets on April 10th at 6 o'clock here at City Hall. Library Board of Trustees meeting is April 10th at 5:30 at the library. Police Advisory Committee, April 18th at 6:30 p.m. And I believe Chief Salvaggio, Ms. Sanchez, maybe you're going to call a special one before then? Okay. Park Commission meeting, April 12th at 7 o'clock p.m. And a Zoning Commission meeting, April 24th at 7 o'clock p.m. at City Hall. That concludes the manager's supplemental report. The actual city manager's report is available online and outside on this table if anybody is interested. And with that, I'll stand for questions.
Any additional questions to the city manager on her report? Okay. Seeing none, then we will move to citizens to be heard. So if you'd like to address the council, Mr. Westrich, I know you had inquired, so if you'll please come to the podium and state your name and where you live.
Two things as I walk
Yes,
up
sir.
there. First of all, my neighbor Keith Moran is here.
Oh, hi. Yes. Hi,
I need
Mr.
to
Brand. How are
borrow-
you?
I need to borrow a piece of his 5 minutes because my little talk's about 7. So, and there's a copy of what I'm going to read to you.
Okay. Very good.
Sorry, I'm misdressed. You probably didn't recognize me, Mayor.
No, I did. I recognized you. You look great. How are y'all doing?
Doing well.
Good.
Mayor, council, my street friends, and ladies and gentlemen, it's an honor to address this team. I bring safety and health concerns about my community. This report is about Leon Valley City's council choice for a new trash collection in our city. Starting January 2018, Tiger Sanitation was determined as the selected company to serve the city of Leon Valley. Tiger Sanitation website lists the summary of why the city changed service. 4 reasons were given based on citizens' feedback and about safety and environmental friendly with less than 1 weekly service and better trucks. According to Leon Valley staff recommendations, that the RFP bid process determined Tiger was deemed the most cost-effective and the best value for the city. It is definitely not the best deal for the citizens. Tiger is definitely the winner. Waste management fee charged $189.12 a year for 104 pickups. This makes the cost $1.82 each. Tiger fees charge $204 a year with 52 pickups. That makes the cost per pickup $3.92. That makes Tiger's profit 215% greater than Waste Management. My street story. 7 a.m. didn't work out for our area, as the story goes. So we were moved from the first pickup to the last pickup. Sometimes as late as 6 p.m. Excuse me, Mayor, I've got to cheat.
I need those too.
It's terrible. I observe customers being missed for pickups, but I understand stuff happens on an individual basis. Zeke, supervisor at Tiger, told me all we needed to do was call them and they would make arrangements for missed pickups. Sounds great. Almost. They stopped answering the phone at 5 p.m., even though Zeke says they're open till 5:30. The whole time for calls are at least an hour, as my neighbors have specified when they call in. Tiger Service Concepts is clear. That as long as it's a normal trash pickup, everything's okay. Sometimes the pickup late, so I assume they've had issues during the day, but for the most part, I am able to return my trash cans before I go to bed. Tiger doesn't provide enough assets for problem solutions, and their management is not aware when a truck misses a complete street and waits for customers to call them. Now let's talk about last week. It rained on Wednesday. 5 streets in our neighborhood didn't get service. But I understand. The call to Tiger and their CSR told me that our makeup day was Friday. Well, okay. Zeke called me later to inquire why I called. I informed him that the lady stated our makeup day was Friday. He said if you would have called him, he would have had a truck there on Thursday. I pointed out he should know that at least 5 streets weren't picked up and a customer shouldn't need to call. By the way, they missed one customer the week before. And as the city manager pointed out, maybe they didn't pay their bill. I don't know. Friday came, and the truck picked up most of the streets except for Forest Wood and a couple customers on Forest Moss. Again, talking to Zeke, he placed a special order to get my trash. Saturday came, and a truck backed up to my house and picked up only my house. And the trash was still left on the street with the rest of my neighbors and 2 customers on Forest Moss. Zeke called me. I stuck my head out the door and said, yeah, my cans are empty. But I didn't go out and look at others on the street. Oh my gosh. I talked to my neighbor, Colonel Moran. He was outside when the truck showed up to pick up my trash. The truck pulled away and headed down the street after servicing only my property. Keith shouted at the driver and asked the driver if he was going to pick up the rest of the street. The driver agreed to take Mr. Moran's trash, but had orders only to pick up Mr. Westridge's trash. The driver drove off, leaving the balance of the street. Monday, I noticed that the balance of the street was serviced, but not the 2 customers on Forest Moss at the corner of Forest Wood. I talked to the members of the street, and we decided that I would voice our concerns at the next council meeting. Who checked out these guys? The Better Business Bureau does show an A+, but over 42 complaints in 2015, 16, and 17. Facebook pages shows customer complaints about poor service, missed customers, an increase in billing up to 7% per year. YellowPages.com and Yelp also have similar comments that the others did. Did the city get a special deal at the customer's suffering? A citizen's suffering? I don't listen to social media much, but even when I travel, I read comments posted. I spent about an hour reading posts and could only find poor service, long wait times, and negative issues. I'm told that the city gave Tiger a long contract to purchase additional trucks, and now the city is stuck with 7 years of Tiger. I understand that without public notification in advance, you and your council cannot discuss these items not listed, but you darn well better react to the citizens' complaints. Dear Mayor, your team made a bad choice, and the next 7 years' contracts must be supported with backup trucking and better customer service from Tiger Sanitation. I enjoy conversations with Melinda, your Public Works Director, on a social basis. But complaining about trash is definitely not my preference. so submitted today, April the 3rd of 2018, Tony Westridge, 6100 Forest Wood, and I've listed my telephone number. Thank you for your time, Council and Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Westridge, for your comments. We do appreciate it. Anyone else like to address the council at this time? Please come forward. Yes. If you'll please state your name and where you live. Thank you.
Tina Chasen, Forest Ridge. Well, just briefly, I hadn't planned on saying this part. But Mr. Westridge, I had waste management like everybody else did, and they were horrible. I can't tell you the number of times, well into 20 years of their contract, that they wouldn't pick up. Pardon me?
You need to speak into the mic.
Okay.
Yes.
In the past 20 years or so, I had more trouble with waste management than I've seen with Tiger, even with the complaints coming in. Now, I will say this. If drivers are getting used to the routes and they miss a whole street, I think it would behoove Tiger to send a letter of notice and apology and a solution that can be posted in next door neighborhood immediately by either Kelly or our communications director, somebody, to quell the problems and also ease the transition along. That's just my opinion.
Okay. Thank you for those comments. Anyone else? Yes. Welcome back, Mr. Riddle.
Yes, ma'am. Philip Riddle, and I'm on Route Sophie Street. Just wanted to say, every morning I go for a walk down the length of Route Sophie Street, and I had just started doing that, the additional blocks to the end of Route Sophie Street, and I had noticed houses with cars blocking the sidewalk, trash cans sitting on the sidewalk behind these cars that are blocking the sidewalk, cars that had no registration stickers, and I've taken pictures of all of these. I went back down there Monday, yesterday, and the police had been there and tagged all these cars. All these cars had moved their cars from the sidewalks. They did a fantastic job on cleaning up that part of Route Sophie.
Very good. Thank you for that
Pass
report.
that on to the chief and tell him he's doing good work.
Do appreciate it, sir. Thank you. All right. Anyone else like to address the council at this time? All right. Seeing no one else, then we'll move to announcements by the mayor and the city council. Dr. Edwards, do you have any announcements at this time?
Not this evening.
All right. Councilor Alcacer.
I'd like to congratulate the Mousers on their new baby girl, and she has to be the youngest that has ever attended a meeting. Mm-hmm. They're truly dedicated, and you're starting just a week.
Thank you.
The second thing is I'd like to congratulate the women's team of the University of Notre Dame. My granddaughter hopefully will be an alum there. She's completing her sophomore year, and they're very proud. And of course, the Spurs are picking up on what they need to do, and we want to keep cheering them on. And don't be negative, and please try to think positively. For every negative thing, if you think positively, I think your life will begin to change for the better. And thank you for being here.
Thank you, Councilor Alcacer. Councilor Martinez.
I don't have anything at this time. Thank you.
You're welcome. Councilor Jordan.
Yes, ma'am. I'd just like to thank everybody for coming out this evening. Also wanted to announce that the city is co-sponsoring a community event at Bethel Covenant Assembly of God Church. It's called Avalanche of Love. It's a community outreach event. They're giving away free medical screenings, free medical, dental, vision screenings, clothes, free food, groceries, diapers, and so forth. The address is 6812 Bandera Road. So that's this Saturday coming up.
This Saturday. Okay, I was going to ask you what
This
time.
Saturday coming up from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. And it's a Bethel Covenant Assembly of God Church.
I'll put the flyers back here on the table for that thing.
Okay, thank you. And just thanks everybody for coming out this evening.
Thank you, Councilor Jordan. Councilor Ely.
Hope everyone had a happy Easter. We had wonderful weather, beautiful day in Leon Valley. And as the city manager said, the park looked fabulous afterwards. Congratulations to all the hard work that Public Works does every day, not just that day. Also wanted to let everyone know that coming up in 2 weeks, just to get started, get it in your mindset, on the 21st of April, Saturday, third Saturday of the month, every month, Leon Valley Raw Vegan Vegetarian Society meets at the firehouse from 1:30 to 4:30. And this session will be on 3 ways to cook cauliflower. Cauliflower pizza, cauliflower rice tabbouleh salad, and mashed cauliflower with vegan gravy. Absolutely delicious stuff. So great, heart healthy stuff. Come on out and learn how to do that, and get some nutrition advice as well. Have a great day, and thank you for coming out tonight.
And what time is it and where?
Oh, it's from 1:30 to 4:30. Always the third Saturday of the month at the Firehouse Training Room, and it's 1:30 to 4:30. Everyone's welcome. You don't have to be raw, vegan, or vegetarian. Just coming out and want to be heart healthy and improve whatever ails you. So, thanks again.
All right.
Mayor, I forgot one
Yes.
item.
Yes, ma'am. Go ahead.
Thank you so much. I wanted to thank the community and the staff for the outpouring of
Everybody's
gift
taking
cards and clothes and love and prayers for the family who lost most of their home on Rue Sophie. I've delivered 6 or 7 loads, had other staff members delivered loads. I don't know how many the fire departments delivered, but quite a few. And if it's not the staff bringing stuff to me, it's a citizen calling, it's a citizen coming in. So it's always a neat time to live in a small community when you see that outpouring when somebody really needs help. And boy, this community has stepped it up for that family. So I want to say thank you to everybody that has participated. The family is extremely grateful. Thank you.
Okay, so 3 of my 4 announcements have already been announced, but that's okay. I was just going to follow up with what Ms. Kinsler said, and it's the prophets who've been the kind of the cog in the wheel. They've been the ones that have been organizing this outreach to their neighbor who lost their home last week. So yes, thank you for everybody. And I was going to say, thank you for the Public Works got a double whammy because on Wednesday the park got flooded. So then they had to clean it up for Easter, and then they had to clean it up after Easter. And I was there on Monday morning early, like 7 a.m., and it was a mess. And so I do appreciate Public Works' effort as well. And yes, I did want to welcome our newest Leon Valleyite, the Mausers' beautiful little girl, Gracelyn, yes, she's beautiful. And also I wanted to congratulate Captain Salcedo. He's back after 3 months at Guantanamo in the FBI, and now he's super certified. And I just want to congratulate him for going the step above and beyond to continue to keep our community safe. And then last but not least, we hope to see all of the volunteers this Thursday at our annual Volunteer Appreciation Dinner at 6 o'clock at the Conference Center. So with that said, thank you all for coming this evening. We'll move then to the consent agenda. May I have a motion to approve the consent agenda unless someone would like for it to be removed?
I so move.
Okay.
Second that.
We have a motion by Councilor Alcacer and a second by Councilor Ely to approve the consent agenda. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion does carry. Moving then to agenda item number 7, ordinance. Ms. Pasolay, if you'll please read agenda item number 7.1, please.
An ordinance of the City of Leon Valley City Council authorizing a budget adjustment to the Community Center Fund of the City of Leon Valley, Texas municipal budget for fiscal year 2017-2018 in the amount of $31,800 to provide funding for the replacement of 2 air conditioning units for a total cost of $46,800.
Thank you. This is an emergency ordinance, so that means that we'll only need 1 reading, and we can take action this evening. And welcome, Maribel. We're so glad you're here.
Good evening, Mayor and Council.
You bet.
We are requesting a budget adjustment in the amount of $31,800 to replace 2 aging conditioning units at the community center. The units were placed into service in 1988, and we've had several repairs on them already throughout the years. But they are now failing and need to be replaced immediately. Unfortunately, we've lost rental fees due to the lack of air conditioning during the events. The total cost to replace the units and ductwork is $46,800. Currently, we have $15,000 is budgeted in this year for external building maintenance, so painting the facilities, the conference and community center, that do not need immediate attention at this time. So we would like to request to use the $15,000 to go towards the purchase of purchasing the AC units at the community center. And a little more detailed, the remaining of the balance would come from the community center fund reserve with a fund balance of $95,428 as of September 30th of last year. So a little bit of a breakdown, the community center reserve would use $31,800, and from our fund this year and our external building maintenance would use the $15,000, which the total cost would be the $46,800. We've had several professionals come out and look at our AC units that have stated that our manufacturer is discontinuing the parts for the units that we have currently in our center, and they are replacing them with more energy efficient parts that won't be compatible with the unit we have currently right now at the community center. Our Public Works Department has also confirmed the same. And it is recommended that the City Council approve an ordinance authorizing the budget adjustment for the community center in the amount of $31,800 to replace the aging air conditioning units at the community center.
Yes, ma'am. Maribel, did you just get 1 bid or did you get several bids?
We requested several bids, but only got 3 in return.
3 in return, and this was the lowest bid?
That was the lowest, yes,
okay,
ma'am.
Very good. Any questions for Maribel or?
And they'll all
Counselor.
be, it'll be
Warranty.
energy efficient and with a warranty,
Correct.
long-term, I hope?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
Very good. Any other questions? Okay.
Then I make a motion, we approve this as read.
Okay.
I second.
We have a motion by Councilor Martinez and a second by Councilor Alcacer to approve the presentation as presented. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion does carry. Thank you very much. Really appreciate it. Moving then to agenda item number 7.2. Ms. Posley, if you'll please read the ordinance.
An ordinance authorizing the execution of an agreement with Sela Aquatics, LLC, in the amount of $48,000 to manage the City of Leon Valley public pools located at 6600 Strawflower and 6620 Evers Road for the 2018 swim season, amending the Leon Valley Code of Ordinances, Appendix A, Section A2.003, municipal park administrative fees, G, swimming pool fees to be set by the pool management company, providing for repealer, severability, and savings clauses, and providing for an effective date.
Thank you. Mr. Demeline, you presented this item last council meeting. This is a second reading, so we are able to vote on it this evening. Are there any additional questions or comments from the council on this particular agenda item? Are there any updates at all from Sela?
Mayor, I don't have any updates.
Okay.
If this is passed, Sela would begin working on the marketing aspect.
Right.
And that's basically what I have for you
Okay.
this evening.
Very
Thank
good.
you.
All right. All right. I know we're all enamored with the Leon Valley baby. We all want to hold her, but we do need to do the city's business. So, may I have a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve this as read.
Second.
All right, we have a motion by Counselor Martinez and a second by Counselor Edwards to approve the contract with SELA as presented last council meeting. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion does carry. And if you'll just note that Ms. Alcacer was out on this particular vote. Thank you. Moving then to the regular agenda item number 8.1. Ms. Postlewaite, if you'll please read the ordinance.
An ordinance authorizing a budget adjustment from the general fund reserve in the amount of $1,246,101 for the purpose of fully funding the construction of the Evers Road Hebner Creek Bridge, providing for repealer, severability, and savings clauses, and providing for an effective date.
Okay, thank you. Good evening, Ms. Moritz, and welcome.
Council?
And you do have a presentation for us this evening. People are asking me, when is the Evers Road Bridge going to be open? I say, June 17th, 2018.
We first have to get the creek to quit flooding.
That's right.
That would be very
That's right.
helpful.
Mm-hmm.
And we really
Okay.
didn't need saws to help us out with that with their broken fire hydrant either.
There you go.
But, okay, so this is to consider approval of an ordinance authorizing a budget adjustment in the amount of $1.25 million from the general fund reserve, and it's to fully fund the construction of the Evers Road Bridge. The bridge project was partially funded in the spring of 2017 through just our normal budget preparation process. But at the time, we didn't know what the costs were going to be, as the project had not been bid. So we put placeholder in there. The project was bid, and of course, as you know, it's underway, but the bids came in higher than the placeholder in the budget. The project was also joint bid with CPS, and that was the part we didn't know we were going to do at the time.
And, excuse me, that's for moving the gas lines?
Yes, ma'am. There was also electrical poles that need to be moved as well.
All right, thank you.
So, but the main
Okay, there it is.
the main cost of this was the moving of these two gas mains, and that's been completed, by the way.
Thank you.
This project is a reimbursement program approved by the MPO, funded by the Federal Highway Administration through our watchdog TxDOT. And I'm sorry this is small, but there was a lot into it. So basically, for project administration and construction costs, we had budgeted for the whole thing, you know, we had, I can't read that myself, I'm sorry.
1.246,101, yeah.
So between the administration and construction costs and what we did, we need a total budget adjustment of $1.246 million. And so our recommendation is to approve the ordinance authorizing the budget adjustment for this funding for this bridge. And I did want to let y'all know, we sent in our first bill to TxDOT in the amount of $135,415, and we got the check yesterday. So it's working.
It's the reimbursable, that's right.
Yes, ma'am. We'll be sending out a bill to CPS next week.
Okay, very good. All right. Ms. Moritz, would you remind me, what was our MPO? What did we ask for the MPO? Where we had they had 80% of the construction cost and we had 20%?
Yes, ma'am.
So was it like 1.8 or something like that? I can't remember.
That was without the CPS work that was
Without
involved
the
with it.
CPS work?
Right,
Okay.
and it was also without the construction administration and testing
Okay.
costs. But I went and checked with TxDOT, and they are going to pay $151,000 of those construction administrative costs because we did the RFP process correctly.
Oh, wonderful. Okay. All right. And so, but then the bid came in higher, and that's why we need more money.
Yes, ma'am.
Is that correct? Okay, just, all right. Any other questions? We're not going to vote on it tonight, but I would like to get the questions from our council and our citizens.
I'm not clear by this, what was the true deficit?
The true deficit in construction, the bid came in at $2,302,291, and we had only budgeted
1.287.
1.287,750. So our total budget adjustment need is 1.246.
So we were $1 million plus short?
Yes, ma'am.
Wow. So can we go back and get the MPO to get some of that too?
They will take on 80% of this cost.
Okay, so that will be recouped eventually.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank
So our
you.
total
Well, that's good to know, because I didn't know if they kept us at our word, like 2 years ago, that we said that we only needed X number, like 1.8 is what I thought.
in
but I
all
can't
of their
remember.
paperwork, at the bottom, it always says estimated,
Okay,
because they
good.
also know that the bids are not
Good.
coming in.
Okay.
But so our total out-of-pocket cost for the whole project is gonna be $439,969.
Okay, that's
So not bad for a $2.3 million project.
And that's coming from general fund
General fund,
reserves?
yes,
Okay, all right. Okay,
All
very
right,
good.
thank you very much.
Those are good questions, thank you. Yes,
And what was
Councilor
the
Martinez.
cost to the city before this addition?
Before the CPS,
Well, before this 2 million, what was that,
it would be
439?
the 2,302, 291 minus the CPS work, which was 505,203. And then it would have been minus the construction administration cost too.
No, so what would be that 439 figure, the old figure? The 439,969 is what's going to cost the city
Yeah,
right now.
I didn't bring the old one with me, I'm sorry. I can bring it to the next one.
Oh,
Do you
yeah.
remember just roughly?
I want to say it was like 513,000, but because we got the bids in, it actually came in lower than what we had thought on the bid.
Okay, thank you.
You bet.
Okay, all right. Anything else? Okay, any questions from our citizens this evening on this very important, hopefully a great improvement to Evers Road, so we don't have to shut it down 26 times a year. So, all righty, well,
The
very good.
current construction schedule has them completing the bridge on July the 6th.
Oh, July
But
the
they are
6th.
going to throw in some Saturdays because I was like, really, we have July the 4th.
Yes, okay, very good. Okay, thank you, July the 6th, but we hope it's going to be before July 4th. Excellent, all right, so then we will vote on this at the next meeting. Then moving then to agenda item number 8.2, discussion, consideration, and possible action to dissolve the Mayor's Youth Advisory Council and establish the proposed Leon Valley Leadership Academy. We have Leslie Wayne, not Leslie, Alice.
Whatever.
Ashley. I know it said A and I said Leslie. Okay, Ashley, I knew that. Ashley Wayman here to present. And this is a follow-up on a discussion that we had maybe about a month ago.
February 7th.
And we gave you some direction and you've come back.
February 8th, I believe it
And
was.
you've come back with your recommendations. So thank you so much for working on this and welcome.
Absolutely. Thank you so
You bet.
much. All right. So we're here tonight to discuss and consider possible action on dissolving the Mayor's Youth Advisory Council and establishing the Leon Valley Leadership Academy. Okay. Okay. No worries. Okay. So on February 7th, 2017, City Council approved Resolution 17-003R, creating the Mayor's Youth Advisory Council for the City of Leon Valley. The purpose of the council was to promote participation by local youth in municipal government, thereby cultivating civic leadership skills, facilitating connections to success, and empowering members to serve as the next generation of local decision makers. So the status after the approval, and I spoke a bit about this last month when I brought this here, but there was outreach done at various community events and organizations. Only 2 applications were received and interviews were conducted in September of 2017, but the minimum student participation for the program was not met, unfortunately. And the 2 respondents that were able to participate and did, apply and do their interviews are unable to participate if we were to continue this one more year. They're graduating and moving on to bigger and better things. At the February 6, 2018 regular City Council meeting, staff was advised to return to Council with recommendations that would aim at increasing participation in this program. So with a similar purpose to the last program in mind, we would like to dissolve the Mayor's Youth Advisory Council and establish the Leon Valley Leadership Academy in its place. The purpose of the Leon Valley Leadership Academy is to promote participation by local youth in municipal government with an emphasis on educating members on leadership at the local level while encouraging them to realize their potential to creatively make a difference in their community. So here are some of the proposed responsibilities for the student members of the Leon Valley Leadership Academy. First, developing an understanding of the positions in City Hall as well as interdepartmental functions, promoting participation in and understanding of local government by youth. And a lot of these are the same as they were with the previous program. We just added a few more to make it a little bit more educational. Periodically attending city council, board, and commission meetings. Monitoring municipal programs and agenda topics in regard to their bearing on Leon Valley youth. Providing access for comment and input from youth, assisting with event coordination and volunteering as well, and then performing other duties as assigned by the mayor, city council, staff, and or the city manager. So this is just a proposed flyer, just kind of mostly just for the information that it talks about, what the program does, how to apply for it, who can join, meetings, things like that. But again, it's proposed and we'll iron out all the details once it's approved and going. The requirements of the Leon Valley Leadership Academy, it will consist of a minimum of 3 youth members, 1 council liaison, and 1 city staff liaison. We also did make it include 8th grade as well. It used to be only high school, but again, if it gets notable interest from younger youth, we'll reevaluate that because, you know, I don't really see a point in turning away any students who want to come learn. So. More requirements, they must be either a resident or attending John Marshall High School, the School of Science and Technology, or another area school, basically saying almost any San Antonio school. You know, ideally our residents would be great and they will be given preference, but anybody will work. The application requirements, we will have them on the website as well here at City Hall. Just the completed application and an optional letter of recommendation. I think it'll make it a little easier on students to get those in timely, and so that way we can get some of the interviews going. Interviews will be conducted by a staff of 3, and then recommendation will be forwarded to council for consideration and approval. A proposed application, just a lot shorter than the last one, 1 page, more how did you hear about this, why do you want to come learn about city government, that kind of aim for our interviews. Criteria for the applicants, they'll be assessed on the strength of their application, their willingness to commit time and effort to the program, as well as their performance in the interview process. As far as the program goes, the students will serve 1-year terms. We are looking into doing quarterly meetings as opposed to monthly meetings. I think just with as busy as students are, and I did reach out to School of Science and Technology, and those kids have something going on every day after school, no matter what. I mean, they are busy. So we thought quarterly meetings might be better, and the idea was even thrown around to do them on the days of the coffee with the mayor. Get the kids in there, see it kind of all in action, and then maybe have a little meeting afterwards to kind of talk about it and continue with the other parts of the program. And they would be required to go to 3 board or committee meetings of their choice throughout the year, as well as 2 city events where volunteers are needed. We would give them hours and all sorts of, their help would be appreciated for us. So. Outreach, a lot of the same as the last one. I've reached out to a few more groups. The Boy Scouts of America are interested, the chapter here. I have reached out to the Girl Scouts of Southwest Texas. Still waiting on hearing back from the chapter in this area. I have spoken with counselors and administrators at Marshall High School, and the School of Science and Technology is very excited about this program as well. And finally, this does relate to our strategic goal number 6 of citizen involvement, as it promotes effective communication with and includes involvement of young citizens. And staff recommendation is that council move to dissolve the Mayor's Youth Advisory Council and approve the establishment of the Leon Valley Leadership Academy as presented. And with that, I'll take any questions.
Thank you. So this is the target date would be 2018-19 school year?
School year,
So
correct.
starting next year?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and did we have like 3 letters of recommendation last time?
The last one required.
But this time it's just 1, but it's optional. Why is it optional?
Then I wanted to leave that up to council. If you would like them to have letters, I think when it comes down to a time crunch or when students are deciding if they're going to sign up for programs, I want to make it easy on them to come get in here and sign up. So, maybe no letter of recommendation required. We just want them to be able to come in and learn about the city. So.
Okay, and minimum 3, but we don't have a maximum. Is that right? That's kind of open. Okay.
Right, exactly.
All right, very good. Okay, and what about Brandeis High School? I went out there about a week ago for a career day, and I was sharing with the manager. They had this huge board for volunteering. I thought it was excellent, and I took a picture of it. So would they be outside the realm of, because they're probably not Leon Valleyites, but we could put it on that board. I was just going to share that with you as well.
Absolutely. I really think it'll draw students from all over, especially when we get reaching out to government classes and student council and National Honor Society. We're not going to turn away any students from other high schools.
Okay.
So.
Well, thank you for rethinking this and presenting it to us this evening. Do appreciate it. Okay, any other questions? We are able to vote on this tonight. So let's ask our questions. Yes.
I think,
Councilor.
I'm sorry.
No,
I,
go right ahead.
I don't think they need a letter of recommendation. Otherwise, I think it's very, very well done.
Yes, Councilor Martinez.
I tend to agree with Councilor Alcazar on this matter. And is there any possible way that the students can get credit for this, school credit?
I suppose that's a possibility. I've spoken to an administrator there, and we only talked about, volunteer hours and service and stuff. But I'd like to work really closely with government classes. So if possible, they do have a, I forget what they call the program at Marshall, Students Assisting Students, and they go to classes of younger students and help them out. And she mentioned that all those students would probably be very interested in this. So if we can get closer with them and maybe consider doing something like that, that would be great.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Anyone else? Yes, Councilor
Yeah,
Ely.
I was going to mention not just getting involved with our city affairs, but within themselves, actually creating projects where they could use other service project oriented.
Absolutely.
All right. Anyone else? Okay, very good. Thank
I
you.
move that we accept the recommendation, but leave out the requirement of even an optional letter of recommendation.
Absolutely. And dissolve. Approve it as stated?
And
Without
Without the letter of recommendation.
But we
Okay.
dissolve the other.
Dissolve the leadership.
Yeah,
Right.
as presented.
Right.
Okay.
I'll second that.
Okay. We have a motion by Councilor Alcacer and a second by Councilor Ely to dissolve the Mayor's Youth Council and establish the proposed Leon Valley Leadership Academy with the exception of no letter of recommendation. Any further discussion? Yes, you certainly may. Good evening and welcome.
Thank you. My name's Mariana Sanchez. I live on Blacksmith Lane. I love this idea just as the previous idea. My only recommendation would be, I know the cutoff is at 18, but would it be possible to include maybe college mentors? Like I myself and some of my friends wanted to come and mentor our youth as well, and we have a lot of political science and that might be able to help with that outreach. Like I graduated from John Marshall, so we still know some people there that we might be able to help. So that's the only recommendation that I thought of is the addition of like maybe 1 or 2 college mentors for the whole committee. Absolutely. That was just my idea.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Really appreciate it. Any other comments or questions? I'm so sorry. Usually if you raise your hand, I'll certainly recognize you, but thank you for those comments. Do appreciate it. Anything else? Okay. So let's vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion does carry. Again, thank you, Ashley, for all your work. Do appreciate it. Moving then to agenda item number 8.3. Ms. Pasolé, if you'll please read the ordinance.
An ordinance amending the City of Leon Valley Code of Ordinances, Chapter 4, Business Regulations by adding Article 4.10, Game Room Establishments, and adding to Appendix A, Fee Schedule, Article A 17.000, Miscellaneous Fees, Section A 17.005, Permitting Fee, providing for a penalty, providing for repealing, severability, and savings clauses, and providing for an effective date.
Thank you. We have Chief Joe Savaggio here this evening to present. Good evening, Chief, and welcome.
Okay, what happened? Which one? Okay. Mayor, Council, thank you very much. Today I'd like to talk to you about a possible ordinance. It would be the first reading about game room establishments. We're going to go through these things today. If you have any questions, I know you all, it's a pretty lengthy one. You have an opportunity to read it. Please, by all means, bring them up. I couldn't put everything in here that's in the ordinance. It's just the highlights. So purpose of this ordinance change is to add a new ordinance, 4.10, so it's game room establishment. There's some definitions so we can all be on the same page on what the definitions are for game room and other things. What the penalties are going to be, create the regulations on game rooms when they come in, if they want to come in, provide the permitting requirements and the operation regulations on how and when they can operate, as well as amending the Appendix A fee schedule for the charges for these game room establishment permits. Again, home rule now allows us to set our ordinances. This is not an ordinance that has been local here, but there's these types of ordinances have been in place in other places for a few years throughout Texas. We didn't have anything that would qualify to regulate these places, and we have one in San Antonio that's already opening up, and there really is, it's more of an attempt to skirt the Texas gambling laws is what they're doing. So this helps us make sure that we keep the people honest and everybody in the box where they're supposed to be when it comes to these game rooms. So the definition we're adding for the game room establishment, the applicant, the operator, premise, what a random generator machine is, and there's a official definition for that. What is definition for compensation, because that's part of what they're trying to do is it's a new way of them gaining money off of gambling, and they're saying it's not compensation according to what the state law is, but it is, and we've already told them. And who the owner, the employees, patrons, and then amusement redemption machine, what that difference is in the regulation. So it's going to provide for a penalty of up to $2,000 per violation. It's going to do a lot of what we've done with our other locations, payday loan vendors, the massage establishments, and the tarot card readers. It's going to give them a radius of 1,000 feet from the nearest game room establishment, keep them 1,000 feet from residentially zoned parcels, your churches, apartments, schools, daycares, facilities, massage parlors, school bus stops, all of those different places, child entertainment establishments, bars, liquor stores, and other pawn shops, because it does bring in an element that you probably really don't want in your community anyway. They have to have no more than 10% of their windows covered, and they have to provide a windows that oversee the actual game rooming, where the tables are and those types of things if they come in. Can't have, this is the same for most of them. You can't have the moving, flashing signs, all the different revolving signs. It's just a reminder in this, just like our sign ordinance. It has to be in a freestanding building, not operating in the same structure as any other game room establishment either. So they would have to find a place that met all these requirements, so that when they come in and put their permit in, before we can even accept it, we need to know where they're going to go and how they're going to do this and abide by the laws. They're also going to have to give us an application that's going to include names, residents, addresses, the owners, operators, employees. Everybody in the business is going to be operating with the business. The supervisors and everybody, it's all going to have to be identified up front. And then they have to list all criminal arrests that they've had, other than misdemeanor traffic violations. And they have to give us their history, at least the last 10 years of what they've done, including anything that has to do with this type of operation. And this corporation that is running some of these they'd have to put all that on their resume, including if they've ever had a similar type of license revoked in any state or any city where they've operated in the past. So it's going to require them to get fingerprinted, all their owners, partners, and managers, and we're going to retain those on file in the police department. They're going to have to give us authorization to conduct a background investigation on each one of them and everybody that's involved in their operation. And they're going to have to provide name and address of the 3 residents of Bexar County. They're going to serve as a character reference. If they can't do these things, then we can deny their permit just based on the stuff that's up here. Move. Okay. So I think it was, yeah, there it goes. Is it going the wrong way? I don't know what this thing's doing. So, no, we're past that. Past that. So if they're violated, employees engage in any conduct that violates the state laws or city ordinances, then we can actually reject or revoke their permit that they've, if they got one. There's a hearing process, so if they don't like what I've got to say, once we revoked it, there's a hearing process for them to come to council, and we can temporarily revoke it until they come in front of council, where I would have to present, and we would ask for a permanent revocation of their rights to operate a game room if it got to that point. So we list some hours, not open between 9 p.m. and a.m. They can't have alcohol inside of them. They can't have ingress and egress to living quarters. They must remain unlocked, the building for fire code stuff. Sanitation requirements inside, no sexual misconduct in the establishment. And we define that in a lot of ways of what the people are wearing, so they can't have, half-naked people serving drinks and things like that, which has happened. Prohibits nudity or sexual provocative clothing as well. So all those things would be required of them to abide by. It shall not limit, and there's some exceptions before you start thinking Peter Piper's Pizza or one of those places. Game rooms for children where tickets are provided for redemption of children's toys. You can have their fraternal organizations and lodges, like our casino night that we have here every year through the chamber. That would be okay. Social gatherings in private residence for the sole purpose of sociability, amusement, and basically that's the law for the house can't take a cut. So if somebody just has a game for the weekend or a Friday or Saturday night with their friends, this does not apply. So if they're doing it and taking a cut, the house, which is illegal, then this would apply, as would the gambling laws. So they have to give us unfettered access at all times. They have to make sure that they can't make the excuse of oh, I didn't know, or anything like that. Their people have to give us access, and anytime that place is open, to do inspections of the place to make sure they're complying with the law, with our ordinance and with the gambling laws, which would be the other thing we'd be looking at during those time periods. So all those things during business hours have to be given access to. So for them to come in and actually ask for the establishment permit fee, it'd be $200. For their game room license fee would be $100 annually, and they'd have to reapply if they have change in owners, if they have change in management. They'd have to come back in, pay the fee, go through the process again with the new owner, the new manager, or whoever they're wanting to run the place as well. So fiscal impact, there could be some fees charged, could be a few that do go through the process. There will be a positive impact on us for that part if they do. We want to make sure that the game rooms that are coming here, if people are going to open one, is properly regulated, and criminal activity is not allowed in our community. The one that's in San Antonio right now, they have raided. They've arrested everybody, but there's some kind of legal reason why they're going to let them continue to operate until they get a court ruling and a hearing, which could take years. So those places are operating right now, or the one place in San Antonio. Removal of criminal enterprise will have positive influence on economic development. I think we're already seeing that right now with the other ones that we've put in place lately. And then ensures the establishments adhere to all the best practices, bless you, in the industry for game rooms. So this, like most of my ordinances, supports strategic goal number 2, which is safety and security, as criminal activity in any neighborhood is bad and presents urban decay in the community and reduces the property values and the businesses' values in the community. So discussion with the city manager when we brought this up, and the chief of police requests feedback on changes to the code. This is our first hearing or ruling, and we will be back hopefully in 2 weeks after any feedback with any changes that you might have. Okay, stand for questions, please.
Yes, sir. I believe this was a time-sensitive issue and that you wanted to bring it to
Yes.
us, and I asked, has it been brought to the police advisory?
It is not. This all came up, I think, Thursday or Friday or Friday, and we had just finished the meeting on Wednesday. I think came up on the day after is when it came up, because they're trying to open up 3 in Leon Valley.
3?
3.
3, okay. So just so I have a kind of an idea, so I would go into this room, and is it like blackjack and slot machines and
It's
I mean,
poker.
it's poker. I mean, I
Poker,
just
but
don't know.
this will impact 8-liners, which
8-liners.
you don't want in the community either.
Okay.
But they try to get around the law by not paying out what they consider the house, but paying a membership fee and a seat rental fee. And so that's why it's important to make sure compensation, the definition for compensation, covers those types of things, so that they understand that if the house is getting compensated at all, it's against the ordinance.
Okay. Well, and one of the main things that I see is that it has to have its own stand-alone building.
Right.
And we don't have very many of those in Leon Valley, do we?
We have a few.
We have a few?
Absolutely.
Okay.
We do have a
But
few.
mostly strip centers, and so.
Correct. But there are some places that are open right now
Okay.
that are
All right.
that have closed down in the past, but not sure whether they would meet some of the other requirements. So we'd have to
Okay.
go out there with a tape measure and make sure they're
1,000
feet away.
feet from, all
Yes,
of the
ma'am.
places that you wanted. Okay, well, very good. I appreciate your presentation, Dr. Edwards.
Are there some of these machines like this, like in convenience stores, or have there been in the past?
There are, and there are in Leon Valley at this time.
They are in Leon Valley?
Are they legal, or?
So they're illegal if you pay out. They are. It just, you can't give anything out, whether it's money or whether it's bartering or anything. Most of them are illegal. There's no reason to have them unless you're paying out. It's just catching them in the act. It becomes the problem.
What do they pay out, money or like coupons or something? Or?
All of the above, just depends. Some places was cash, some places coupons, some it's food, whatever they want to, however they want to barter it.
I walked into a place over on Evers, past the former where the bridge used to be, and there were some people in the back there at these machines. I thought, well, why would they be doing that unless there was some money involved?
The chief knows they're there.
Okay.
Promise.
All right. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Anyone else? Yes, Councilor Alcacer.
Have they already applied for a permit? Is that part of a problem right now?
They've not applied. They've approached and trying to convince us. We've told them we still believe it's illegal what they're trying to do. We told them that flat out that I would arrest them if they came in and did this. They said, well, we have a legal ruling. We said, produce it, which they have not done yet. That was last week. We were having these back and forths. They're supposed to get us a legal ruling and explain to me why that it's not criminal, and I'll explain to them how I'm going to arrest them when they come in. So, because they're not going to convince me it's not criminal, because it is.
So if they apply for a permit before this goes into effect, because there's no such ordinance yet, other than what you are saying, would they still be entitled to?
So my concern, ma'am, is that I don't think if they apply, if we've given them one, I think yes, they might have some standing, some legal standing if they got an injunction, because we've seen a lot of criminal activity that we've had to deal with, and they get an injunction, they stay open until a ruling. That's our fear. So if we can make sure that they understand, okay, if you want to come and you really are legal, then here's the things you got to do. 3 of them in one town, first of all, is not going to happen. Because of the regulations. That's going to be way too many already. But we're hoping that they look at other cities that aren't home rule, I'm sorry, or that aren't looking to put some protections in place for their citizens. That's our goal.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay. Oh, yes, I'm sorry. So, Ms. Kinsler, go ahead. And then if anyone in our chambers has a question as well. Yes.
Mayor, Chief, I just wanted to make sure that you were still going to vet this through the Citizens Police Advisory Committee prior to the second reading.
Correct. If y'all give us the thumbs up for today, then we will call a meeting for next week so that by the following week, when we come back together, we'll definitely
I
have you an
appreciate
answer.
that.
Yes,
Thank you.
ma'am. Absolutely.
I think the more eyes and ears on these ordinances are good. We need as much input as possible.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. All right, Ms. Baldridge, you had a comment as well. Good evening and welcome. You're welcome.
I may have missed it, but what is the minimum age permitted?
Oh, the minimum age. I don't believe you had it.
That's what created Leon Valley. Originally, these kind of things were operating on Everest Road.
Oh, okay.
And that's why we had citizens draw up an agreement with the city to close these businesses.
Mm-hmm.
And because kids would slip out of their homes at 2 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
and go.
Okay.
Parents were asleep.
Mm-hmm. Is there a minimum age?
I don't remember us putting an age.
I didn't see one in the presentation.
One of the nails in the coffin for them, they're not looking to gamble earlier in the day, when they have to shut down by 8 o'clock at night. That's not, when most people want to go out and gamble.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they do have to shut down at
8 o'clock at night.
Oh, I didn't hear that.
I thought it said 9 p.m.
I thought it was, between 8 a.m. and 9 p.m.
Yes,
Yes. 9 o'clock at night.
Mhm.
Okay, shut down.
Right. But I still thought that was awfully early.
We'll have it closed
I
down.
mean, yeah, I still thought that was awfully early. They're not going to, people want to gamble into the night, I guess,
Exactly.
so, right. Okay. Thank you so much, Ms. Baldridge, for that. Anyone else have any other input on this particular ordinance on the game room? Anyone else? Okay. Thank you very much, Chief. Then we will take the second reading up at the next City Council after the Citizens Advisory has a chance to review.
Council.
Thank you. Okay. Moving then to agenda item number 8.4. Ms. Pasolay, if you would please read the ordinance.
An ordinance of the City of Leon Valley City Council authorizing the expenditure of the Economic and Community Development Funds in the amount of $32,500 to provide funding for the Leon Valley 2018 July 4th event, authorizing a budget adjustment in the amount of $32,500 to the fiscal year 2017-2018 Economic and Community Development Project funding line item, providing for repealer, severability, and savings clause.
Thank you so much for tuning in.
And providing for an effective date.
Okay, thank you very much. And Ms. Pasolay, you'll be presenting this evening. Thank you and welcome.
Good evening.
Good evening.
This is a quick item. It's for your consideration and approval of an ordinance authorizing the budget adjustment of $32,500 and to provide, to provide sponsorship of the Leon Valley 2018 July 4th event. Funding from this will come from Economic and Community Development Fund to the general fund. On March 27th, a presentation was made to the Leon Valley Economic and Community Development Advisory Committee seeking sponsorship of the Leon Valley 2018 July 4th event. A motion was made to expend $32,500 as long as some of the amount was specifically appropriated toward the military appreciation, as the theme is land, sea, and air. Leon Valley is everywhere. The Leon Valley Economic and Community Development Advisory Group recommends to allocate $32,500. Staff also recommends approval of the ordinance authorizing the budget adjustment in the amount of $32,500.
Very good. Now, is this, Ms. Pasolay, is this in addition to your budget figure, which is what?
It's
60 something?
65, 575, 19 plus is for overtime. So 46,000 is actually for the event. So yes, this would be in addition to that.
This would be in addition to the 65?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, very good. Thank you. I just wanted that clarification. So you're going to use it in what way to promote patriotism?
We have a couple things that we're still working on, of course. One of them would be the military bands and some military, the recruiting offices. I've reached out to the Naval a recruiting office here in Leon Valley. They're moving, but they said that they'd be happy to help. That's just one. This is all still very early.
And would any of it go towards the fireworks? Because I think the Economic Development
We
Corporation
have talked
had given
about that.
some money to the fireworks in,
Yes, ma'am.
in prior years. So, okay, thank you. Anyone else have questions? Yes, Councilor.
I was kind of surprised at the amount because I thought we were doing very well on sponsorships and things, and I didn't think this would be needed from the economic development. So,
As of right now, the only actual sponsorship that has come to fruition is from Tiger Sanitation for $2,500.
Oh, okay, because usually you'll have about 4 or 5 different sponsors, no?
They've all been stirred up.
Oh, they've
I've
all
gone
been
and
stirred
visited
up.
with all of them,
Okay.
but nothing's actually come in yet.
it's too early.
Yes, ma'am.
Too early,
So
okay.
if it's not needed, can it go back to economic development?
That's probably a finance question.
I can answer that
Okay.
question.
Mm-hmm.
Mayor, Councilor Alcacer, if all the money is not used, the 32.5, it'll just remain with the 1/8 that's set aside for community and economic development. I will tell you that both Ms. Postley and I were as equally as shocked as you were with the 32.5 because during her presentation, she didn't even ask for an amount. She just asked for them to consider any type of sponsorship. Motion was made, seconded, unanimous. They wanted to do 32.5.
Yeah, I picked up my jaw and I walked out.
Yeah, right. So no amount was requested, just a sponsorship was requested. But they felt like this was a true economic development project, as many people as it brings into the community, and they wanted to, that money to be a part of it. Last year, their contribution out of that was $20,000.
Okay, very good. Yes, Mr. Stanley. Good evening and welcome.
John Stanley, 6104 Route SME. My concern is how do you justify spending economic development funds for the fireworks event? I don't understand the 4th of July celebration. I don't see the connection. What was the justification for that? Taking out
Yes, go ahead. I have an answer, but I'm sure yours is better.
Probably not, but I'll take a stab at it. Sir, the reason you can spend economic development funds on city events is because you're bringing people into the community and then they're utilizing community services. So that's the reason that you can justify that. The hope is that as they're in Leon Valley, they will eat here, they will, fill up their vehicles here, they will use services here, especially the parades in the morning, there's swimming events during the day, then there's the evening events. So technically, it's like a 14, 15-hour day, that people come and go throughout Leon Valley. So you bring in people to Leon Valley, you're able to showcase Leon Valley, and they spend money in Leon Valley. And that's how you justify it as an economic development project.
But still the amount of money that you're talking about transferring sounds excessive. Also, I agree with the previous comments. It's my concern.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you for those comments. Do appreciate it. All right. Anyone else? Yes, Councilor
I
Ely.
just wanted to remind Mr. Stanley that our last year, he had a total, or at least an estimate of 20,000 people that came into Leon Valley for our afternoon and fireworks presentation and activities. Well, true, unless we had our taxes. That some of that, I'm not sure about how much funding actually came back to us in rebate stuff from the actual concessionaires or anything like that. I know that people were always grateful to have people flowing through, other than the neighborhoods that are saying too much traffic, get them out of here quickly. Other than that, the businesses are very grateful because they know they get gas, they get food, they get fast food eateries and stuff. So it's not a matter of what are they spending the money on. They are coming in and spending money. That's a given.
Okay. Yes, Councilor Martinez.
Mr. Stanley, one other thing is Leon Valley is getting to be known as one of the suburban cities that has a fantastic 4th of July celebration. And that right there in itself brings awareness and to Leon Valley, notoriety, and that, you know, we are a community that is looking forward. So it does help our community, not just in Leon Valley, but outside in San Antonio, that people recognize that we are a viable entity.
Thank you. And then, yes, Councilor Jordan.
All right, thank you. What was the budget for last year's 4th of July? Do you remember?
I don't have it in front of me. I know we were over quite a bit.
We did not.
Oh, bless you. I'm sorry.
We ran over on the cost.
Oh, yes, sir.
Oh, yeah.
I was thinking you were over by like 50,000.
Oh, no, the total amount
Oh.
was about 90.
No, it was 110, 120.
Correct.
With overtime.
Yeah, and we have a budget adjustment, yeah. That's
You
correct.
remember how many sponsors we had last year?
Maybe 8.
And by any chance, approximate total estimate?
Throwing hardballs. No, sir, I would be guessing. But I can tell you that I have gone to a lot of the businesses here, and some that I don't think that we visited with last year. Planet Fitness, the bowling alley, some others that I hadn't really seen in the events since I've been here. And Sierra's working on doing something. The gentleman I spoke to there is working on something for 4 months now to try to do more. So, but that hasn't surfaced yet.
And so would you anticipate having more sponsors this year than
I love
possibly
a
in the
challenge.
past? Yeah.
So yes,
I know
I'm hoping to.
Okay. All right, thank you, ma'am.
But we will get a complete itemization of all of the cost and all of
Absolutely.
the income, and so we can see how we spent it appropriately.
Definitely.
All right, very good. All right, anything else? This is our first reading, so it will be presented at the next city council meeting for approval if the council approves it. All right, thank you very much. Do appreciate it. Agenda item number 9 is citizens to be heard. Is there anyone in the council chambers that would like to address the council at this time? Please come forward. Okay. Well, then, if there's no further business this evening and no objection, we move to adjourn at 8:03 on Tuesday, April the 3rd. Thank you all for coming, and we hope to see you all at the Volunteer Appreciation Dinner on Thursday and the next City Council meeting. Good evening. Oh, yeah, we're going to reconvene into special session. That's right. Okay, so we're adjourning at 8:03, but we will reconvene at 8:03 into executive session and continue what we started at 5:30. Thank you all very much. Have a good evening. right. Okay, we're back into, we've reconvened from executive session into regular session at 8:32 p.m. on the executive session that we began at 5:30, and there is no action. If there's no further objection, then we will move to adjourn at 8:32 on Tuesday, April the 3rd. Thank you all very much. Good evening.